What would you do if a grown man living in your house refused to help with anything, messed up every task you asked him to do, and still acted like he was in charge? Today, I'm sharing the story of how I finally taught my lazy, entitled brother a lesson, using nothing more than a kitchen, some burgers, and pure poetic justice. Before we get started, hit that like button if you've ever had to deal with someone refusing to pull their weight at home. And subscribe for more stories of clever, satisfying revenge that feels like karma served on a plate. I live with my parents and my older brother, let's call him Matt. He's 27, and he contributes absolutely nothing to the household. No chores, no errands, no jobs. He just exists. He doesn't cook, doesn't clean, doesn't even take out the trash unless he's forced to. And the worst part, he acts like he's doing us a favor just by showing up. For context, in our household we follow a simple principle. If you're involved in making dinner, you serve the plates. If you're tired from a long day, exceptions can be made. Fair, reasonable, common sense. But Matt doesn't play by any rules. He will outright yell if you ask him to do anything, and he has this incredibly infuriating habit, purposely messing up tasks so you won't ask him again. Examples: cleaning the litter box and leaving the bag of poop on the ground, not replacing a trash bag, cutting vegetables into chunks so large they could double as doorstops. You get the picture. One evening my dad and I were cooking burgers for dinner. I had to tend to the laundry and feed the cats, so my dad asked Matt to cut the vegetables. Onions, tomatoes, and lettuce. Pretty simple. Matt's face twisted as though we had asked him to perform open heart surgery. He reluctantly grabbed the cutting board and knife. When I returned from the laundry room, I saw it. The tomato and onion slices were thick, jagged, and uneven, clearly designed to make the burger nearly inedible. He hadn't even bothered with the lettuce. I sighed, rolled my eyes, and went behind him to fix the lettuce. Typical. At that moment, I felt a mix of emotions: frustration, disbelief, and a simmering desire for justice. My dad cut new tomatoes and onions, but I didn't waste the messed-up slices. No, not this time. Those slices, those ridiculous, jagged, oversized slices, were going to go where they belonged, on Matt's burger. I could almost hear his smug inner monologue. I did my part, you're just ungrateful. But I had been silent for too long, cleaning up his messes, covering for his laziness, and tolerating his condescending attitude. It was time he understood one simple rule. If you screw up your work, you own it. I carefully plated the burgers. My dad's and mine were perfect. Fresh lettuce, evenly sliced tomatoes, and onions that actually fit on a bite. Matt's burger. The thick, jagged slices. All of them. I handed out the plates without a word. My internal monologue was running wild. Eat it. Every last messed up piece. Let it remind you of what happens when you refuse to do your part. Matt looked at his burger, confusion flashing across his face. This isn't right, he mumbled, poking at the tomato slices. I smiled politely and said nothing. Dad glanced at me, eyebrow raised, and I shrugged innocently. Picture it. The sound of the sizzling grill, the smell of fresh burgers and onions filling the kitchen, the faint crunch of Matt's poorly cut slices under his teeth as he reluctantly took a bite. He chewed slowly, clearly realizing these weren't just normal thick slices. These were symbolic justice. Every bite was a reminder of his laziness, his entitlement, his refusal to contribute. I could see the anger growing, but there was nothing he could do. I hadn't insulted him, I hadn't yelled. I simply let the consequences of his own actions play out in front of him. My dad and I ate quietly, exchanging glances, silently celebrating the subtle yet perfect execution of justice. Matt stared at me, rage and disbelief warring on his face. You put these on my burger. Eat the fucked up pieces then, I replied calmly. And that was it. Silence. Chewing. His humiliation complete. Finally, for once, he experienced the consequences of his own behavior. And let's be honest, there was no yelling, no confrontation, just perfect poetic justice. The rest of us finished our dinner satisfied. The message was clear. If you refuse to do your part, the world, or at least your family, will serve your mistakes right back to you. This story isn't about punishing a sibling. It's about holding people accountable in a way that's fair, clever, and undeniable. Sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation. It's letting someone literally experience their own incompetence. And for me, it was the satisfaction of knowing that, at least for one meal, my brother learned exactly why responsibility matters. If you loved seeing lazy behavior backfire in the most satisfying way, hit that like button. Share your own tales of subtle revenge in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where patience, creativity, and a little justice go a long way.